the end of the day, the two most valuable resources for everything you want in your life. It's not complicated. Emotional states, energy, that's it. Think about it. If you don't feel good, how are you gonna enjoy this thing we call life? If you don't feel good, people don't wanna be around you. And not to mention also, if you don't feel good, how are you gonna stop yourself from saying things you know you shouldn't be saying? It's almost a cliche. Oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, but that's because you're not addressing the core. That's where all the concepts you're getting from the books, videos, maybe even your counselor, you got some great concepts, but no ability to execute. When you can control your emotions, that is the foundation for that. Again, making everything very simple here. So the reason why you've probably looked back at your life and said, wow, things are not going the way I want, that's because you've never addressed the core before. But when you feel fantastic, that gives you all the odds in your favor to actually execute in the way that's gonna behoove you and your relationship. But at the end of the day, when you feel great, you're just good. And that's what everyone wants. So let's keep things simple here. But any process you're gonna do to resurrect yourself, your relationships, and your life has to start with that foundation. It does not matter what you know. All your concepts go out the window as soon as you feel fear, sadness, anger. As soon as you feel that stuff, what good are your concepts? They're worth nothing. So it does not matter what you know, it matters what you can do. And if you can't control your emotions, you effectively know zero. Any process you're gonna do to work on your relationships and your life needs to address at the core. Number two, energy. Energy is the fuel for everything you're looking for. How are you gonna make your dreams come true? How are you gonna make your relationship to the next level if you don't have any gas in the gas tank? Does that make sense? But that's not a concept, that's a skill, that's a conditioning. And by the way, on that note, a lot of people talk about mindsets and beliefs. That's not really what they're looking for. If you think about it, how are you gonna have a mindset when you feel like shit? How's that gonna work out? Your ability to execute is a conditioning, it's the way you feel. The conditioning is actually what allows you to execute a mindset or execute a belief. Beliefs and mindsets alone, without the conditioning, without that energy, without that fuel, they're worthless. So at the end of the day, what everyone really wants is a conditioning. And again, that's a skill, that's a process, that's not a concept. And that's why the people that work with me, my clients that do the Refocus on Happiness program, they're good either way. Hey, some people get back together their exes, some don't, and most of them don't even want that person back. But when you feel great, it's a whole different level, not just for your relationships, but for your entire life. So let's kind of close up here. Two most valuable resources, energy and emotional states. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you just execute at a completely different level. That's what makes all your techniques actually executable. And if any of you are dealing with stuff where you're trying to get, a job back, a business back, relationship back, you first have to get you back. And again, to get you back, that's conditioning. When you get you back first, and you're now at this level, people want to line up with you. Think about it. A lot of you are dealing with breakups, and you're kind of in a rut, you're in a fog. No one wants to be around you. And the decision to be in a relationship is an emotional decision. It's not logical. You can't take a PowerPoint presentation and say, oh, you're going to want to be around me because of A, B, and C. It doesn't work like that. People either want to be around you or they don't, based on how they feel when they're around you. So if you have a relationship that's not going so well, you can have all the concepts in the world, but if you're not enjoyable to be around, good luck with that. That's not going to work out very well. You can have all the best qualities in the world, but if someone doesn't enjoy their experience with you, that's not going to work out too well. But to get yourself back there, you can't concept your way there. That's a conditioning. That's your ability to control the way you feel, okay? So again, I'll kind of close on this note here. Steve Martin has a great phrase. He says, be so good at what you do, people cannot ignore you. I'm going to make it so obvious what is available to you when you actually finally address the core. And by the way, on that note, again, this is a biological process. It allows you to rewire, recondition your brain like you recondition a muscle. I got doctors to do my program. Why do you think that is? A lot of you might have heard the idea of neuroplasticity, brain cells that fire together or wire together, but this is a true practical experience allowing you to recondition, rewire your brain like you recondition muscles. Same thing. And again, it allows you to keep moving at higher levels. But anyway, so bottom line is, that is what addresses the core. That's what allows you to take your relationships and your life to levels you ultimately want to go. Anyway, enjoy. I'm gonna make this so obvious for you in the end part of this video here, where you see a bunch of people that are just like you, same situations. At the end of the day, no offense to you guys, but your situation is not as unique as you think it is. You have a brain that is capable of incredible things if you give it the right process, the right condition, the right stimulus. You have no idea what you're capable of. And again, at the end of the day, everything you've done is because you want to feel a certain way. But to feel a certain way consistently, that's a conditioning process, and that's why you're going to want to address the core. So enjoy the video. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Frustrated is not even the right word.
Mhm.
I would call it a pretty severe clinical depression.
Okay.
Anxiety, just self-esteem down in the dumps and blaming myself, asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why am I so reject worthy? What am I not enough of? Not smart enough, not pretty enough, not educated enough, not responsible. And I was like, kept going down the list, and this was my rehearsal. And it was bad. I spent a lot of time crying, to the point that my eyes were puffy and sore, and I was alone a lot of the time and isolating a lot. If anybody knows the symptoms of clinical depression, I hit everything but suicidality, literally. Not thinking, feeling, believing that I was not worthy, because I felt that if somebody had basically thrown me away, that I was the kind of person that's worth throwing away. So it was like that.
How would you compare yourself? How do you feel about your life, your relationship, how would you compare where you're at now versus how you were just 6 weeks ago?
It's hard to believe.
That's a good way of putting it.
It's like a freaking miracle. And I know it's not a miracle because I worked for it, but you said what I thought was ridiculous. You said there'd be a Bonnie 5.0.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that, like different person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of that shit going on anymore. There isn't crying. There isn't a waste of time. I mean, there's a really long, everything you promised has come to fruition, and more and more things I didn't expect.
So how do you feel about your life now going forward? How do you feel about the future?
It's just going to it's great right now, and it's just going to keep getting better and better.
So this is awesome for you because you have the psychology background. You use the words, I was clinically depressed. So I'm saying, after you experience what you experience, do you really believe in depression?
No.
In the way you were taught?
No. Depression was a muscle that I worked out a lot.
Yeah. And with that muscle being worked out, all of a sudden, voila, ta-da, depression doesn't exist anymore.
So I stopped working out the depression muscle, and I started working out lots of other much more beneficial muscles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. And so therefore, it's no different than having atrophied muscles that you never work out. So you just now you did what you had to do. Now you're good.
Yes. And it's not a magic trick.
Yeah, no, definitely not a magic trick.
There's rock solid, as you and I both know, rock solid science, fucking brain science behind this.
I usually don't jump on things when I first hear them. For example, your program, I looked at your emails probably every day for 6 months. 6 months before I wanted to know, how much is this going to cost? What is this? Is this guy for real? And I did some Google searches on you. Eventually, I felt like I need to get myself together here, and that's when I went ahead and gave you the call. Well, eventually I did end up giving you a call, and I'm glad that I did. And I've stuck with the program since day one.
You said, Lance, I want someone who is going to take me beyond the finish line, take me to the finish line, someone who's going to get me there.
That's why I was looking for somebody else to be more of a coach, and not just to read books, because I'd already done that. So that's when I came across your program. Mm-hmm. And after watching you over and over and reading some of the things, felt like, I think this might be worth taking a chance on. I mean, everything's a gamble. You take risks, and you take calculated risks, and it was a calculated risk because it wasn't cheap. Not that I can't afford it, but even for me, it's an investment. Mm-hmm. And so there's no guarantees on an investment. You're taking a little bit of a risk. Some are less risky than others, but I felt like on balance it was worth the risk, and I took it, and I'm glad I did. Well, there's a lot of parts to what you put into your presentation, and some will appeal to some people, some will appeal to another. And for me, when you went into the neuroplasticity thing, that somehow triggered something in my mind. Yes, of course this works. This is how you develop, brain patterns over time. And some of the reading that I had done about how to form habits, etc., also kicked in, and I realized, okay, we're forming a habit here, a set of habits that are going to become part of who you are. Even from the first time we talked, I was impressed by your confidence. And that has a lot to do with inspiring confidence in others. You were very confident that you could be helpful, even from the very first time that we spoke on the phone before I even signed up for the program. And it was pretty obvious to me, you've done this for some time, you've practiced this, you have a program that you know in and out, and you're not starting out with me. You've gone through this with many other people.
I just got dumped, and it was like, I can't go through this. I'm not going to live life like this. I can't let this person control me or this situation control me. I need to get over this, and I need to do it now, because I was so devastated. I was so devastated, and I didn't think I could get through it. And then you came in. It was perfect timing when I saw that Facebook ad. It was like it was meant for me. And so I knew that I needed to do this, and I wasn't going to, I didn't want to go through this anymore. The pain was just unbearable. And what your program did for me was, not only did I get over this person, I mean, I'm so happy that he found her. It was like a blessing. I mean, sometimes I'll look on their Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, they look good together. I didn't belong with him. And I'm like so happy for them, like literally. And this is the person that broke my heart.
Isn't that amazing? Like, again, people think I'm like crazy that they see him now. Like, would you have ever thought, before you and I spoke, would you ever thought you would actually feel like that? Were you actually grateful and you actually appreciate me? Like, what, I'm glad they found each other. You never saw that one coming, did you?
No, I never did. I kept thinking, is he going to come back, or what can I do? And in this process, I found myself. It's like if my mind, I was asleep, and there was like, this woke me up. This pain, going through this woke me up.
I would spend months mourning the loss of the relationship. Now it's like, whatever. I feel like I'm the prize. And if
you are.
And if that person can't see that, then that's their loss. And I'm perfectly fine. Like, I don't need anybody to validate me. I validate my own self. If you would have told me back then that I would be feeling this way now, I wouldn't have believed you. I'd have been like, yeah, right. But yeah, here I am. And I feel awesome. I feel awesome. Money well spent. Would do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah.